Hello, everyone. I'm Josina Kamerling. I'm head of regulatory outreach for the CFA Institute. But also, it's my very great pleasure to be co-president of the jury for a very interesting global prize on ethics and trust in finance for a sustainable future. And it's always a pleasure to speak with the laureates of this prizes down the years. Now, we are at the 9th edition, which was running from 2022 to 2023. And I have with me today Josiah Wamwere-Njoroge, who is from Kenya and a postgraduate student at the Kenya School of Law. And he's really challenged us at the jury to think about diversity and inclusion in a very particular context, because actually the topic of his essay, which won him the first prize, was rethinking gender scoring to gain fairer creditworthiness assessments. And actually, it's something that I hadn't thought of, but you know, it is indeed a very important issue. I am female. I know what it is to be part of that different population. And sometimes I do feel it has been an uphill struggle. I had a career in finance, long time. So I think, yes, I have seen that struggle. But on the scoring, the credit scoring, I didn't imagine that we could go also in that direction. So what pushed you to write about this topic, Josiah?
Yes, thank you very much, Josina. Now, my background is in law, as you have heard, and I came to find out about this prize on Twitter, and I realized that during the launch of this prize, they had the round table was about artificial intelligence. And therefore, as part of my strategy, maybe to win, I decided I would write on a topic related to artificial intelligence. And now, prior to this prize, I had also written another essay, another African-wide prize, sponsored by an IT organization in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
So my essay then was about, the topic itself was the cyber colonization of Africa. And during my research for that previous prize, that's now when I came to research more about artificial intelligence and algorithms in general. Now, it was during that time that I came now to start thinking about this topic, but very shallowly at that time. But then when now I saw this prize, that's why I decided to now write about this, about credit scoring and algorithms in general.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, you know, this is very often how it happens. How you start thinking about one topic, and as you research that, you start seeing issues. Do you think gender scoring is a particular issue on your continent in Africa, as regards other parts of the world?
It is, because you realize that in my country and in Africa in general, women have undergone lots of disparities when it comes to things like education. It comes to things like accessing finance. It's actually now that things are getting better for them. And for example, my mom, there's a time my mom wanted to try to start a business. About when I was starting campus, she wanted to start farming and start a poultry project.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't have money at that time. And therefore now I saw her really struggling, going through all these financial institutions and being denied loans and finance all this time. So that also connected in my mind. And it's not just her. A lot of women across my country and across Africa are actually facing that challenge.
And I think, you know, that it's fantastic that you refer to your mother. My mother didn't work, was a typical wife at home, and started work at 55, and found her life through work and her self-worth. And I think this is very important wherever women are, whether they're in Europe, in Africa, in Latin America, in North America. I think, you know, it's the right of a human being to have a good activity and to be financed. And it's the purpose of finance to serve society. You know, it's something that at the Ethics and Trust in Finance for Sustainable Future Prize, we have been discussing for a long time with the jury members, with the sponsors. And it's a very important point to repurpose finance for the common good. And that includes when you want to start an activity, like your mother wanted to start farming, and you want to go and seek a loan to start that you should be enabled and not you know, discriminated against. So what have your findings been on the gender scoring? You know, you have talked about some of the issues with artificial intelligence, that there can be an unconscious bias because of the way in which the questions are formulated. Can you dig a little bit into that for me?
Yeah, sure. Now, the debate is whether to include gender in these algorithms as they're learning. So now, on one side, there's that school of thought that says that if we include gender in these algorithms, then it will lead to discrimination in one way or another. Now, my argument is this: let us include gender scoring in these algorithms, yes. And then when we include gender in the algorithm itself, we try, because at the end of the day, these algorithms will commit either two types of errors, either false positives or false negatives. So at the end of the day, the solution here is to try to seek a balance between these two types of errors, so that at least when we have that balance, we can have some form of we can call it equality in these algorithms themselves.
I think this is very good. You point to this because, you know, as you were speaking, I was imagining, you know, the problem for women is very often they have to start and stop their jobs because of children. And so an algorithm might pick up on the fact that there have been periods without work. And, you know, that creates an unconscious bias, which, you know, if you have a man in front who has been working all the time, except maybe the job wasn't as interesting or he wasn't showing enough that, and the woman has been stopping and starting because of family life, you know, it makes it complicated. So I think taking that into account, I think the other thing that we at CFA Institute have done, and this will be my last question to you, is we've been working on the future of finance and looking at also how sales teams, financial advisors need to be much more acquisitive with T-shaped skills. What I mean to say is more emotive, more intuitive, more diverse, thinking outside the box. And we also advise that these sales teams and these advisors should actually be of diversified you know, profiles, because they have a checks and balances, and this will enable ultimately diversity and inclusion, because if the teams in the banks, for example, are diverse, if you have more women sitting in there, then, you know, you will change that model. What do you think of this?
I think that's for sure the way to go. We cannot continue doing things the way we have been doing them, because at the end of the day, we realize that it's not working. So we have to be innovative. We have to think outside the box, as you said, and being more inclusive in these institutions will lead to more inclusive decisions. and that will pave way to more financial inclusion in future.
Josiah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm inspired. I was very much inspired by your essay. I hope you continue on this path. I hope your mother is, in the meantime, achieving what she wants to do, and that things are moving forward for her. But keep that inspiration, and I welcome all of our viewers to read his essay. It's on the website, and do come back and engage with Josiah what your experiences are. We welcome that. Thank you very much, Josiah, for this conversation.
Thank you, Josina.